Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher this week is Jiddu Krishnamurti. And today's meditation is called A Sense of Self. Let's get in there. Let's get into today's message. Hey, Sunmari, good morning. It's great seeing you. Hello. When we talk about fear, or when we listen to talks about overcoming fear, and we hear that everything that we've ever wanted is on the other side of fear, it often sounds like the ways to overcome our fears are things like jumping out of an airplane or diving with sharks. But let's be real, most of our fears are not created by our resistance to extreme adventures. Our deepest, most paralyzing fears lurk in the shadows of our own self-perception, in the way we feel about ourselves and think about ourselves. The whispers of not good enough and the relentless what-ifs are what genuinely hold us back from the lives we dream of living. Krishnamurti's message today gets to the root cause of the fears that determine our paths. He says, one of the major causes of fear is that we do not want to face ourselves as we are. The fears that shape our paths are not about external dangers. They're about the internal landscape we are too frightened to explore. The view that I have of myself, what I fear I am, and what I'm scared I might never be, these are the fears that steer my thoughts and my daily actions and reactions. I'll read a couple more thoughts from Jiddu Krishnamurti today that speak about this theme. He says, fear is one of the greatest problems in life. A mind that is caught in fear lives in confusion. It lives in conflict, and therefore it must be violent, distorted, and aggressive. It dare not move away from its own patterns of thinking, and this breeds hypocrisy. Until we are free from fear, we may climb the highest mountain, invent every kind of God, but we will remain in darkness. So let me just summarize that quote. Until we are free from fear, we will remain in darkness. The next thought from Jiddu Krishnamurti is, fear is the destructive energy in man. It withers the mind, it distorts thought, it leads to all kinds of extraordinarily clever and subtle theories, absurd superstitions, dogmas, and beliefs. What is needed, rather than running away or controlling or suppressing or any other resistance, is to understand fear. So what Krishnamurti is saying is, what is needed is understanding fear. That means watch it, learn about it, come directly into contact with it. We are to learn about fear, not how to escape from it. And then I think this is the last thought for today from Jiddu Krishnamurti. If you come across fear, stare into its eyes, face it, and you will notice that fear fades away. When we really come face to face with fear, we generally tend to find that while there's a message there, while there's something protective there, there's not a whole lot more. There's not a real thing there that can get in our way. It's only our response to fear that gets in our way. Hey Anthony, a good evening to you. Awesome seeing you. There lives within you both a scared human and also a fearless creator. And you get to choose who is in the driver's seat. But understand this, you cannot be the fearless creator by pushing away the scared human. If you reject and abandon the scared human, you are causing only more fear. If you are at war with yourself, you only guarantee that your most fearful parts will fight for control of the wheel. But if you listen to the scared human, if you allow him or her to be heard, if you ask them why they're scared, if you seek to understand and hold the scared human, then a softening happens. The fear gradually subsides. And what's more, ask yourself this question. If I am looking at the scared human, if I'm listening to and holding the scared human, then who am I being? Well, of course, you're being the fearless creator. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll float away together. Today's meditation is called a sense of self. Let's start with the first few big breaths. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, you can let it all go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. Continue your full body breathing. Become aware of the rise happening in your body with every inhale, and feel all the way into the fall happening in your body with every exhale. In today's meditation, we invite our inner children to come and sit with us. come and sit for a conversation. In my mind, this always looks like the grade 1 teacher sitting on the carpet, inviting the children to come and sit down with her. The examples that I'll use in today's meditation are sadness, a part of you that perhaps sometimes experiences feeling sad, and then anger, a part of you that perhaps sometimes reacts in anger, and then fear, the part of you that perhaps sometimes feels scared. I'm calling these inner children because very often the seeds of these different elements of our personality, those seeds were planted in our childhood more often than not. But sometimes we can experience these different parts of ourselves, not necessarily as children, but as very grown-up versions. However, you might have your own experience of sadness, anger, and fear. These all live within us. So for the purpose of this meditation, I will call them our inner children. So invite these inner children to come and sit with you. Ask them to breathe along with you as you rise and fall in your own breathing rhythm. Imagine them sitting with you and doing the same. I might ask this a few more times, but try and get an idea of what these inner children would look like. And it's not important that you find a clear image. It's not important at all. But being open to it invites this closer. What would sadness look like? If you could have a conversation with a part of you that sometimes feels sad, what would that part of you look like? What would anger look like? What would fear look like? And again, while it's not important that you find a clear image, try and hold yourself in an open space where it might be possible to see what this part looks like. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible. And we're inviting these inner children to breathe and stretch along. Imagine you could see them join you. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. See if you're able to tilt your head to the left while you tilt your hips to the right, curving your spine into an S from your head down to your tailbone. Can you switch? Can you tilt your head to the right and your hips to the left? One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least becoming as present as we possibly can be right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want to remind you of these inner children that we invited to sit with us. Today's examples are sadness, the part of you that perhaps sometimes experiences sadness; anger, part of you that perhaps sometimes feels really angry; and fear, the part of you that sometimes feels scared. Invite these inner children closer. Remind them that we are here for a conversation. And really, this conversation is all about listening to them, getting better at listening to what is there. Take your next big breath. We turn our attention first to sadness. A part of you that may sometimes feel sad. It's interesting how often we have really big resistance to feeling the things we feel. What's become very clear to me is that our job is not to push away feelings, to change how we're feeling, but to become better at feeling. Because when we become better at feeling, then the experience is not so bad, not so intense. And because we have acceptance for feeling, it also tends to not last so long. The better we get at this, the more easily the feeling passes. So let's take a good look at sadness. What might this part of you look like? See if you find any kind of an image. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, ask sadness to speak. In other words, remind yourself of, in moments of feeling sad, what are the thoughts that go through your mind? Remind yourself of the thoughts you think when you feel sad. And pay particular attention to the fact that these thoughts tend to repeat. It tends to be the same recording that plays again every time I feel sad. So just allow that recording to play now. Listen to the words, the way they've been said before. Take your next big breath and listen. We'll extend the conversation with sadness by asking a question. Now imagine sadness as a child you're speaking to, a friend you're speaking to, a brother or sister you're speaking to. Imagine you could ask a question and just listen to what the answer is. Let sadness within you speak. As you take a deep breath and dive deep into you, ask sadness this question. Say, sadness, in those moments when you feel so sad, what is it that you're afraid is going to happen? What is it that you are afraid is going to happen? Now take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank sadness. Thank you for being here, for being seen, for being heard. We know it's a brave thing to do. We'll turn our attention now to anger. Call anger closer. See if it's perhaps possible to get an idea of what anger looks like. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of the last time you felt really angry. How did anger speak in you? And pay attention especially to the repetitive nature of how this comes up again and again. What does anger say, even just inside of you, every time you feel angry? Now take your next big breath and just listen. We'll continue the conversation with anger by asking a question and allowing anger to answer. The question is very simple. Turn towards anger and say, "Anger, I get the idea that you're trying to protect me from something. You're trying to prevent something bad from happening. What is it that you're trying to prevent? What are you trying to protect me against? What is the bad thing that you don't want to happen?" Now take your next big breath and allow anger to answer this question. Take your next big breath. Take a moment to thank anger for being seen, for being heard. It takes courage to stand up and be seen and be heard. Thank you, anger. And then lastly, we'll turn our attention to fear. The part of you that perhaps sometimes feels really scared. Maybe it happens often, or perhaps it's been a while. Call fear closer. Let fear know that we are here to listen. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, ask fear to speak. Try and remind yourself of the thoughts that go through your mind when you feel scared. And especially pay attention to the repetitive nature of those thoughts. It is the same recording that plays again. Now, take your next big breath and just listen. I will extend the conversation with fear one more time by asking fear this question. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards fear and say, "Hey, fear, in those moments when you feel so scared, what is it that you really want for me? What is your deep desire for me?" Now take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank fear for showing up, for being seen, for being heard. Thank you for being brave. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. And invite these inner children to be wherever it is that they want to be. Perhaps they'd like to sit closer to you. Perhaps they'd like to sit on top of you. Perhaps they'd like to crawl inside of you. Or perhaps, like children, they'd like to just go and play and not be bothered. Wherever it is they want to be, take them there. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I'd like to just take a minute on the usefulness of an exercise like this. And other ways we could do a similar exercise is to journal. Whenever we realize there's something within us calling, something wanting to be expressed, an emotion even, is taking pen and paper and allowing that part to speak. One of the easiest ways to journal is to express an emotion, but to imagine that that emotion is someone outside of you, a brother, a sister, a friend, a child. Imagine saying to this person, you can just speak, tell me how you feel and I'll write down your words. We can very simply do that for ourselves. Let fear speak and I'll write down your words. But let's get to the usefulness of this exercise. If I can sit down, have a conversation with anger, allow anger to speak, write down the words, ask anger a question, and get a response from anger, then what I'm not being in that moment is anger. I'm not being controlled by anger, but I am allowing anger to speak, to be felt and to be heard. Of course, the question then is, if I'm not being anger, who am I being? And whatever label we want to put on this, it's clearly a part of you that is strong, a part of you that has the capacity to hold a space for anger to be felt. Soul, higher self, wisdom, whatever we call that, the more we practice, the more we embody the strongest part of ourselves. I'll read to you just one or two more thoughts from Jiddu Krishnamurti. He says, what is needed rather than running away or controlling or suppressing or any other resistance, what is needed is understanding. Understanding fear. That means to watch it, to learn about it, to come directly into contact with it. We are to learn about fear, not how to escape from it. And that goes for any emotional state we sometimes experience. He says, if you come across fear, stare into its eyes. Face it and you will notice that fear fades away. There lives within you both a scared human and also a fearless creator, and you get to choose who is in the driver's seat. Understand, however, that you cannot be the fearless creator by pushing away the scared human. If you reject and abandon the scared human, you are causing only more fear. If you are at war with yourself, you only guarantee that your most fearful parts will fight for control of the wheel. But if you learn to listen to the scared human, if you allow him or her to be heard, if you ask them why they're scared, if you seek to understand and to hold the scared human, then a softening will happen. The fear gradually subsides, and what's more, ask yourself this question: if I'm looking at the scared human, if I'm listening to and holding the scared human, then who am I being? And of course the answer is, you're being the fearless creator. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this journey of learning how to hold and listen to these inner children. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that resisting what speaks within us, resisting emotion, resisting an inner experience, only makes it stuck. When we try and push down what we're feeling, it doesn't go away. It just goes into the box where we push these things until that box is too full to contain them. And then we have to just deal with more of them anyway. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that everything within me is just trying to be helpful, trying to help me survive, trying to help me cope, or at least trying to help me feel like I can cope. Everything is trying to be helpful once we understand what they're trying to do. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that how I practice to be stronger, how I practice and work out the muscles that can hold all of these inner children, is by being the space in which I can listen. The more I listen to them, the stronger I grow, and the more easy it is to not be controlled by them. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Thank you for learning how to listen to your inner children. Thank you, somebody. Thank you, Anthony. And thank you to whoever else is in the background listening. Lots of love to you all. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.